Celtic have been handed a huge multi-million-pound blow. We will cover this frustrating story in today's video, whilst going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours.
But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.
Celtic have been given a sizable away allocation for Sunday's Premier Sports Cup quarter-final against Partick Thistle at Firhill. The tie kicks off at 3:30 p.m. on Sunday and will be live on Premier Sports 1 from 3 p.m. with a 3:30 kickoff in place. Partick Thistle made the decision following consultation. A total of 1,150 fan owners and representatives took part, with the outcome placing home fans in the Colin Weir and John Lambie stands and allocating the Jackie Husband stand to visiting supporters. That means a bumper section for the travelling Celtic support. Brendan Rodgers will manage his resources with Wednesday's Europa League trip to Belgrade on the horizon. Full focus remains on booking a Hampden semi-final place first. It would be difficult to second-guess Brendan Rodgers' lineup for the game. Will he use it to help some of his first-team players get into a rhythm, or will he choose to lean on less established players to make sure he has a fresh squad for the Red Star Belgrade tie on Wednesday? A pre-match banner display is planned by the Celtic Fans Collective. Materials will be distributed throughout the grounds, and supporters are encouraged to participate. This is yet another clear message to the Celtic board that fans have had enough of watching the team look under-resourced while millions sit in the bank. Now for the main story, as Celtic's latest financial results have once again shone a spotlight on the club's conservative approach to spending, with their corporation tax bill eclipsing their record transfer fee. The Hoops announced last night that they went into the summer transfer window with £77.3 million of cash assets, posting a profit of £33.9 million after tax for the year ending the 30th of June. That figure came after a pre-tax profit of £45.7 million, up from £17.8 million the previous year. It means Celtic have handed over close to £12 million in corporation tax. To put that in perspective, the club's biggest ever outlay on a player remains the £11 million they paid for Arne Engels last summer. That comparison is damning. Paying more to the taxman than on strengthening the squad highlights what many see as an overly cautious approach at the boardroom level. While financial prudence has kept Celtic stable, rivals have shown more aggression in the transfer market. The numbers will fuel further frustration among supporters who already feel the summer window left Brendan Rodgers short of quality. With Champions League progress again out of reach, many believe the club has failed to strike the balance between healthy accounts and genuine football ambition. Celtic's tax contribution is a marker of financial strength, but for fans it raises an uncomfortable question. Why prioritise balance sheets over investment in the squad? For a club sitting on vast cash reserves, the perception remains that a lack of boldness in the market is holding the team back. In other news, Brendan Rodgers didn't mince his words last week when asked about Russell Martin's current struggles at Ibrox. The Celtic boss turned the spotlight onto a bigger issue: ex-managers and pundits, some of whom once sat in the Ibrox dugout, now sniping from the sidelines. Rodgers said he had some issues seeing former figures taking potshots once they were no longer needed by Rangers. He stopped short of naming names, but the meaning was clear. Barry Ferguson, Neil McCann and Billy Dodds have all been critical in recent weeks, often sounding more like bitter exes than impartial analysts. He said, "I have some issues around the moral aspect when I see people commenting on how he's doing, and not that long ago, they were stood in his shoes or sat on the bench." On Saturday, Dodds brought it up on BBC Sportsound. His attempt to laugh it off came across more sheepish than bold. "I better watch what I'm saying here or Brendan will be looking out." "I just thought I'd throw it out." I had a chuckle when he had a phrase or two to say. "You've got to laugh. You've got to laugh." It was a nervous response from the former Dundee United and Inverness boss, who hasn't managed since leaving Cayley Thistle in 2023. Rodgers' comments clearly touched a nerve, laying bare the tension between Celtic's manager and the cluster of pundits who once had fleeting spells in the Ibrox dugout. For Rodgers, the bigger point was about accountability. While he faces the press and takes the flak after tough results, others sit comfortably in studios chipping away without ever having delivered real success themselves. That disconnect grates on him, and Celtic supporters will have little doubt about who his words were aimed at. As for Dodds, his "you've got to laugh" routine only underlined Rodgers' point. With no dugout responsibilities, his influence barely stretches beyond the radio mic. Rodgers, meanwhile, is preparing his Celtic side for another high-stakes campaign while shutting out the noise from the sidelines. In other news, Celtic supporters are ramping up their push for change at the top of the club with a fresh initiative led by the Celtic Fans Collective. The group, born out of the recent wave of unrest, has set itself up as a hub for fans who want to turn frustration into coordinated action against the current board. Their next step is a pre-match protest at Firhill on Sunday, when Celtic face Partick Thistle in the League Cup. The plan centres on a display branded with the now familiar call of "Sack the Board." Collective members will hand out material outside the ground, asking fans to hold it high as the team walks out. The goal is maximum impact, sending another sharp reminder that patience has run out. It follows September's protests at Rugby Park, where fans deliberately stayed away from their seats until the 12th minute. That symbolic move has grown into something more organised, with the collective positioning itself as the rallying point for supporters demanding boardroom change. The timing is deliberate. On Friday night, Celtic released their annual financial results, showing record turnover and cash reserves of nearly £80 million. Profits after tax reached £33.9 million, and the accounts also revealed a £12 million tax bill due to HMRC, a figure larger than Celtic's largest ever outlay on a player. For many fans, those numbers underlined a familiar frustration. The club is thriving financially, but the squad feels weaker than last season. That disconnect is fueling the anger. Supporters point to the Champions League exit against Kairat Almaty, another underwhelming transfer window, and a board they see as sitting on money instead of strengthening the team. The collective's rise suggests the protests won't fade anytime soon. With banners, coordinated fan displays, and growing online visibility, pressure is mounting on a hierarchy that insists it is investing but is widely viewed as falling short of ambition. All eyes now turn to Sunday at Firhill, which looks set to be the next flashpoint. Lastly, Graham Spears has claimed Brendan Rodgers has expertly turned the media narrative in his favour despite Celtic's recent failings on the pitch. Rodgers has faced heavy scrutiny after failing to score against Rangers in a 0-0 draw at Ibrox before a humiliating Champions League exit to Kairat Almaty. Yet Spears argues that, thanks to his handling of the media storm that followed, Rodgers has emerged with his reputation among supporters enhanced, while the board have taken the flak. The support in the majority seems to be united behind Brendan Rodgers. When the briefing was published in The Sun, the reaction was unanimous. Rightly, whoever had a rant to Roger Hannah a few weeks back isn't the most popular in the Celtic support. Rodgers did call this person a coward and called for an investigation, but on Friday he revealed that the matter was over and the case was closed, but he gave no further details.
What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.